Dude, you gotta check this out.
What are you doing here? What's with the new jacket?
Oh, well, it's getting hot out, so I got myself a jacket for it. New springtime jacket, everybody. Oh, anyway, so, basically, Universal released this trailer for Jaws 19.
Jaws 19?
Yeah, check it!
Let me see this thing.
2 hours later.
Why did it take 2 hours to show me this trailer?
Because you looked at it for so long. Give me that! Ugh, let's get to the review!
Hello there.
This is the Entertainment Idiots, and today we're reviewing Jaws.
Jaws from 1975, everybody.
Yes, 1975.
A classic Spielberg film, which is also owned by Universal, everybody.
Huh, I ain't read a lot from Universal lately.
This movie is generally about a great white shark that basically keeps attacking the entire people around the beach because, you guessed it, it's a shark.
Yeah.
So it starts off with
Also, I told you we'd eventually get up to this.
Anyway, it starts off with a girl running to the water because she wants to swim.
Well, who doesn't?
And apparently she's taking off her clothes because she's going to be swimming naked, everybody.
Oh, she's skinny dipping.
Oh, that's the term you call for swimming naked. Anyway, so she jumps into the water.
This is supposed to be PG and your dad's skinny dipping.
Anyway, she's inside the water as she's swimming around, as we get a point of view as in the shark.
Uh-oh. Quick, Mr. Krabs, plug the music!
Anyway, so she gets actually bitten, and then the shark drives her into the water. And so she keeps getting attacked as there's a shark pulling down on her leg multiple times and trying to eat her.
Yikes.
As she struggles for her boyfriend, who's already on shore, he cannot hear her scream as he's lying on a beach.
Really? Just why?
And so she's just getting eaten and screaming the entire time. And it's kind of unsettling for people. And that's the way that scene ends. And so we cut to the beginning mostly because we got Chief Brody.
Yeah.
He's the chief of the town. Yeah. Police chief, that is. So he gets a phone call about what just happened.
Yeah, basically, he gets a call about what happened because this shark came in and...
They've got to deal with this right away. So he goes out and does his police duty. And quite conveniently, they live right on the beach.
Yeah.
You know, this kind of reminds me of 50 Shades of Jaws.
Do I have to get my dagger again?
Oh, please. Not the Shrek review. Ugh.
Sorry, everybody. He'll be in the hospital next couple minutes.
No, I'm not. I'm right here. And so we get introduced to Amity Island.
The inspiration for Amity Park from Danny Phantom.
And exactly the place that they live. So Brody's walking down the beach, walking to the boyfriend of the girl who was just killed by a shark the night before.
Yeah.
And that's where we get introduced to his partner, the police department. He runs over and sees what's going on, and notices that something's wrong. And we got a cameo of the crabs.
Well, what do you know? Before SpongeBob was even created.
So, following the day, we get to see him again riding a car, and so he makes him put up beach signs and make them all up in order to steal his job.
Yes. Yes, he does. Also, fun fact, everybody, before Avatar, Titanic, and even Star Wars, this was actually the movie that made the most money originally.
And then we get introduced.
It anyway.
So we get introduced to Larry.
The movies that came before it. You know
what I mean? Larry, the mayor of this town.
Not Larry, the cable guy.
And so they go onto a ferry where they will be delivered to another part.
Yeah, so essentially the thing is he explains to the mayor that they have to close the beach because the fact remains, hello, there's sharks in there.
One giant bad shark.
That ate somebody.
Keep in mind, people, this movie made the inspiration of clams from SpongeBob.
Yes. Keyword here is inspiration, not a ripoff.
Anyway, so we got cut to a beach where this kid named Alex is walking around. Yes. So Brody's on the beach watching along just to make sure nothing happens as Alex goes for a swim.
So basically, while Alex over here enjoys his cameo in Jaws, meanwhile he's
And Brody starts getting a little paranoid
when
as
he notices somebody's getting pulled down.
Unfortunately, it was some guy pulling a girl down as he talks to the people. So people end up going to the water.
Oh, real smart.
Yeah, just because one kid went in there. Yeah, bad idea. Anyway, so he meets up with a few people as this guy notices that his dog is gone.
Yeah, just like something is off.
Anyway, the shark comes back.
And basically, Mr. Krabs refuses to plug the music like I asked him before to do. So, as a result of that, well...
There is going to be some blood on the beach. And before you all know it, Alex gets attacked.
Ugh. So, how did that feel?
Not bad.
Not bad? Eat it!
That's not me. Anyway, Brody seems to notice as the water is coming to a bit of red.
Yeah, I would just say, everybody out of the water!
That's exactly what Brody is saying.
Yeah, we'd be just like, okay, anyone who goes in there for our next couple of days, you are grounded.
Anyway, so Alex's mom notices that he's missing, only to find out that he's been killed by the shark because of the remains in the water. And those remains are the blood and the popped, whatever that was.
I think that was a raft.
Popped raft. Anyway, the next day, the town hall begins to have a meeting about the situation to deal with it.
And if I was that mother, I probably would just be blasting the mayor saying, basically, it's you who killed my son because of the fact that you were the one that made him go in the water again.
Brody makes a speech about how they're going to deal with this and decides to tell everybody that the beaches are going to be closed.
Smart move.
But unfortunately, when people ask about it, he responds saying the same thing, and everybody gets apparently pissed off about it. Hello, a shark?
A shark's there? What, are these people idiots?
Anyway, here we've got another inspiration of from SpongeBob. And so that's when we meet up with Quint.
But not before he says, do you have a bathroom?
No. Anyway, he tells everybody that he can kill a shark 100%, and he doesn't have to go with anybody and get paid about it.
Anyway, so they actually think and make the beach closed. Huh, they actually thought of something for once.
And so Brody's studying the sharks.
Yeah, basically, meanwhile, while they're studying the sharks, basically, well, they have to figure out how to catch it. So eventually they go off sea with their dog. Seriously, why is there a dog?
Brody's wife comes in and accidentally scares him.
Yeah, I guess anyone would be scared to sneak up on them like that.
But that's when Brody notices that one of his sons, I believe Michael...
Hey, I'm in the movie too. Yeah, that's right, I cameo too.
And because he's in the water, Brody tells him to get the fuck out.
Yeah, even in the safe zone, that's not smart.
But then his mom also tells him to get out because of the dangers of the water. And so the next night, we got two fishermen who are trying to do their own little fishing.
Yeah, real smart. Yeah, that's just gonna pull the dock.
So Brody even scares himself more as he's looking at some shark attack injuries and some other shark-related stuff.
Yeah, why?
Back to the fishermen, they notice something's going on.
Something's going on. Basically, they think they caught the shark.
Which they did, because the shark happens to be flowing towards them and completely crashes the drawbridge.
That is one strong shark.
And so this guy gets almost immediately pulled away, and now he's in a tough situation.
Yeah, so basically the dock is just pulled to shore.
Until it turns around, which means the shark is chained to it, probably. And so his buddy asks him to keep on swimming towards the water.
Swim! Swim! Mr. Krabs, how many times to tell you? Plug the music. It'll stop the shark.
And he ends up almost getting killed by the shark because he's seconds away from death. And luckily his buddy pulls them along. And so the remains of the drawbridge float back to the shore. So anyway, the next day we get introduced to Matt Hooper.
Yeah, I told you we would get to him, this Jaws review. So Hooper's over here, remember?
Anyway, yeah, so his character is basically a shark expert who knows all about it, and he's the perfect man for the job. And this is the scene where Brody meets up with Matt Hooper.
Yeah, he meets up with Matt Hooper here.
And so he's on call again, trying to make sure they deal with this shark situation like always. And that's when Matt Hooper barges in, like always. So he explains that he needs to take a look at that shark and the severe limbs of the victim so that he can identify what kind of shark it is. Because You know, he's a shark expert for crying out loud. And so the next day, the people are around. They're going to go try to kill the shark themselves on their own boats as they have their own meat buckets.
Of course!
Pirates, what is alive for me? Yeah. Wow, there's Axie.
Anyway, they keep on trying to throw all their chum and meat and other raw fish parts just to attract this shark.
Yeah, sponsored by the Chum Bucket, everybody.
Right. And so the blood goes into the water, and then we have the next scene where Matt Hooper,
Not Hubert.
is looking at a dead body of the victim that has just been killed by the shark. He's basically doing this just to identify what kind of a shark this is,
Yeah,
so
is
that
this a great white shark, or is that small shark from Nestle Classified School Survival Guide that showed up in that one episode?
just so they can identify what kind of a shark it is. And then that's when we have the first gross out scene of the movie where we got a severed limb of a hand.
Mind you, this is PG.
PG, everybody. Anyway, so
You know, for kids.
then he identifies what the shark is by trying to, cut the freaking body open. And he says it's not a tiger shark.
And
That's when we come up to the scene where they think that they've caught the shark.
the small shark in reality.
But this is not the actual shark.
Spoilers.
Apparently, Brody's very, very pleased to see that the shark has been caught, and Matt Hooper starts to get suspicious.
Yeah, it does look a little fake from that angle. But then again, this is the 70s.
I mean, this is a real shark, it's just the wrong shark.
Yeah.
That's where we see Quint's boat.
Anyway, smile.
And then after the picture's taken, Brody goes to Larry, the mayor, and shows him what
Not
they've got.
Larry the cable guy. Anyway, the mayor decides to be a jerk because the fact remains he thinks that, well, now that the shark is caught, they could open the water. But they're still suspicious about it, so basically, naturally, Hooper wants to, examine the shark a little. But they decline simply because the shark is caught. No worries anymore about it.
That's only because the mayor, being the selfish dick that he is, does not want to see the entire shark autopsy. Well, guess what? That's why we have hospitals.
Yeah, and something while the two of them are discussing it as well.
As Larry is kind of pissed about it. And so then we get to Alex's mom, who's actually dressed in thick black clothing because of the death of her son.
Yeah.
And that's where she confronts Brody and slaps him in the face. Police assault.
Yeah, but
She's upset because he was the one responsible, because he was the one allowing people to keep the beach open. Shouldn't she be mad at Larry for that?
I would have been mad at the mayor, not him.
Yeah, that's Larry. And
Yeah,
so she's pissed
I would have
off
been
about
mad
it,
at Larry.
and then she storms away, and Brody actually feels bad about this, even though this was technically the mayor's fault. So,
Ay.
the next scene...
Mind you, Captain America Civil War might or might not do something similar, because, spoiler.
Yeah. Basically, Matt Hooper comes over for dinner.
Okay.
He comes over and meets up with Brody, who's also having dinner.
And they're still debating on whether or not that was the actual shark.
And so Matt Hooper talks about his background to Brody's wife, and the next scene travels to them cutting the shark open as Brody watches.
Yeah, basically they figure if there's a body in there, then it's the right shark. But if not, then it was the wrong shark.
But it was already a wrong shark as we see milk pours out.
Seriously, when did the shark have milk?
And some fish, some undigested fish as well.
Well, that must have been the chum that they gave it earlier.
Probably, yes. And because Brody does not think about this, there was a can in there. And so Hooper comes to his final conclusion that this is not the correct shark. Because,
I would close it anyway, just for that alone, just saying the place is shark infested, not just one.
So basically they go out and look for any unwanted boats. And by that I mean any boats that have been stranded. And also because Hooper wants to find out what other sharks there are, if it's the correct one.
Yeah. So naturally they decide to go out there. Well, sailing, 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 sailing. They're sailing in the water with another boat.
And that's when they find out it's the boat of one of the fishermen who tried looking for the shark themselves. And that's when Hooper has the perfect idea to go onto that boat and look to see if there's any remains.
Why? Oh wait, you already said.
And because he did that, he goes underwater with a flashlight.
Okay.
Anyway, so he looks into the wreckage of the boat, and tries to see if there's any evidence of shark stuff in there.
And
We come across a tooth.
Nice tooth.
Made from a shark. Anyway, he looks in and jump scare, everybody, warning.
Yeah.
The dead body of one of the fishermen. He got his
That's creepy. Mind you.
PG. Oh, and then we see that he's swimming in pee.
Wow.
Wow, that is just not... Okay. A family picture. If you don't stop acting like an idiot right now, I'm gonna have to take your trusty dagger.
Really? You're gonna take that? Why?
Because I'm mad.
Unbelievable. I don't even need my trusty dagger right now. I can easily...
Alright, then I'm gonna cut you with this fan.
Fan? Ah! Okay, that is it. Sorry about that.
You alright?
No, you tried to cut me with that.
And so they try to explain the whole situation to Larry as the shark, and so that Hooper starts to explain that he's pulled the tooth out of a great white shark. So they try to convince him that it was
The wrong
real.
shark.
No. He actually pulled out the tooth of the correct shark. And so Larry does not believe them as he says, "Oh, this is nothing." Because
Even though that's physical proof.
and the awful part is that this dumbass decides to keep the beaches open just because of stupid tourism.
Yeah, because if they don't have the tourism...
And that's what makes Hooper mad.
Basically, if they don't have the tourism, they will lose money, basically.
And that's when he notices this billboard with vandalism. But as Hooper explains, those proportions are correct.
That's pretty accurate.
If you look at it. And he says that there's nothing wrong because they have to do whatever they can, but those beaches will definitely be open on the 4th of July. Yeah, nice going, douchey McDouche face.
Yeah, he's just as bad as
The principal from the Breakfast Club.
Ay, that prick again.
And now we have the ship of tourists. And that's when we have a small montage of everyone coming in.
Oh yeah, man. Weird.
That's when he's on call again.
Alright, so... Crowds. Yeah.
And so they all gather up on the beach as Martin is doing his duty, I guess.
Sorta.
And that's when more people are again doing the same thing. Yeah, not a very
And
good idea.
everyone's...
And there, I think that's the cameo of Peter Benchley, the guy who did actually write Jaws the book. If I'm wrong, comment below. Flying.
He's flying in the sky in front of the beach.
And so Larry's noticing that nobody's going into the water and convinces this couple and tries to get them to go in.
Yeah, because, well, hello. A shark was recently here. I would be
Why do you think no one's coming in?
Seriously. I would have been just like, how about I don't want to go in the water yet? I just ate. I have to eat. I have to wait an hour before I go swimming sometimes.
So people are keeping a lookout just to see if there's any evidence of sharks. And now everybody, and I mean literally everybody, start running into the water and crowding up. I would not want to swim in something like that. And I'm pretty sure nobody would want to swim in an ocean where there's been shark reports.
Anyway, so he tells Michael to, well, swim in the shallow areas to be safe. Oh, man, he's so in trouble.
And so we got another montage of people swimming in the water.
When suddenly...
the people notice something odd. And now, here we have a spoiler alert. A shark red alert, which is a false alarm because this girl notices something.
Yeah, I would run after that one.
That's when everybody starts seeing what she's seeing, and now everybody starts freaking out.
And Phineas and Ferb ripped this off years later.
And I can see that we have people with guns. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you need more than just a shotgun to stop a shark.
At the very least, a stun gun.
And so people are forced to get out of the water, and Brody says no whistles because that will attract the shark.
Oh, yeah, I would.
Oh, the irony.
Wrong area, people.
So people keep trying to block
On the
way.
bright side. All right, everyone, learn to swim. You paddle with your arms. 1, 2, 1, 2.
I'm pretty sure these people already know how to swim, except for the children who are being grabbed by their mothers.
Well, of course, they want to protect their kids, unlike what happened to Alex.
Yes, the death of Alex. Get over yourself. It's a movie. And so it's revealed that it's a freaking cruel prank.
Unbelievable. Why would anyone do that? Hey, where did everybody go? Where did everybody go?
And so they have guns pointing at them because this is a false alarm. Why would you wear that?
He made me do it.
Yes, that's exactly what he did. And that's when a girl on the other side of the beach notices the actual real shark and starts yelling to people about it.
No, everybody, the shark wasn't there. It's over there.
Yeah, and that's when Brody starts to notice, and so he tries to get towards
Michael's
her.
in the shallow zone.
You're right, because the shark is supposed to be in the shallow zone. That's according to this movie, and that's exactly where Michael is.
Why is the shark even there, for starters? I say that simply because of the fact that if it's a shallow zone, shouldn't it be like hitting that dart at the same time?
Tell me about it. That's because Michael's on a boat with two of his other friends. And that's when the boat gets flipped over because there's this man who has his own boat, and unfortunately for him, he gets eaten by the shark as we see the remainder of his limb go down in the water, which will come up pretty soon.
Okay, everybody, run.
That is what I was talking about.
Oh!
How
PG,
rad.
everybody.
And that's when Michael almost got attacked by a shark, but it was lucky enough to swim away from him. Why?
He was running. What do you think? Of course I would run.
No, I'm talking about the shark. It completely avoided Michael. I assume it would have eaten him. But apparently he's not dead. He's just passed out from shock. Because, a shark was so close to him.
That was lucky.
What are you doing here?
Where
did you come from?
The water.
There's no water here.
Yeah, there is. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
Sit down, dude.
Blimey, that was lucky.
Anyway, the next scene travels to the hospital as Brody's pissed off with the mayor and decides to take a little talk with him.
I would be just like, dude, there was a shark, a guy got eaten, you're an idiot. Punch!
Perfect way. Anyway, so he tries to confront him by telling him that what he did was so cruel and reminds him of what could have happened if if his kids were in the water.
Imagine if it was you in the water there, dude.
Or hell, your wife, your kids.
Or anyone.
How do you live with yourself? Anyway, so he feels bad about it, and Brody does not want to. Brody does not want to deal with another one of this bullshit. So then Brody meets up with both Hooper and Quint.
Basically, it's time to go hunting.
And apparently, guys, Quint is a better shark hunter than Hooper, because look at all the shark displays he has around his place.
Well, yeah. All right, let's examine and see if those are real. Yeah, they're real. So anyway, they decide to walk up the stairs.
And talk about how they're going to kill the shark.
Yep, just more hunting season time. Not open season, hunting season.
So the three of them are already prepared, and now they're going to start loading the boat, which is actually called the Orca.
Oh, wow. That sounds familiar, actually, Orca.
It's a whale. Orca whales. Have you not heard of those?
I've heard of them. I was just trying to remember. I heard it somewhere else.
Anyway, so Hooper, with his equipment, comes onto the boat as well as he's preparing a cage. And Hooper and Quint talk about how they're going to do this as he asks him if he's going to go to that cage underwater.
And he plans to, actually,
because he's very, very brave.
Yeah, though I just...
Oh, and for the record, everybody, Quint sings a lot in this movie, so if you get annoyed about that, well, too bad.
And no, we are not turning this into a High School Musical parody right now.
Don't remind me, I hate High School Musical.
What?
Anyway, they start sailing off to the main ocean, as we get a close-up shot of one of the teeth. It looks like they're about to be eaten. And this is also a scene where Quint sings.
Anyway, here's the blood again.
And that's
Family picture, everybody.
Yeah, that's because Brody's taking all the chum and other dead fish parts and put them all into the water just to attract this little shark. As Quint is sitting down with a fishing rod, and I guess Hooper's examining some things. And basically that's where we got the classic can trick, where he drinks it and crushes it up.
And then tosses it.
Well, not really tosses it, but Hooper does the exact same thing. So Hubert over here.
Hubert? Did you just say Hubert?
Yes, with or without fishing gear.
Hubert? Hubert?
He even gets mad.
Hubert!
She gets mad at Brody for spilling one of his tanks and warning him that if he does that again, it will blow up.
Okay.
And so he starts practicing tying on knots.
Okay, I did not know we hit Boy Scout camp. Or Girl Scout camp, whatever you want.
Basically, Quint is showing him how it's all done.
Alright, everyone. You go over and under
But
and
but something goes a bit suspicious as the line starts moving.
Okay, hey, we got a bite. Maybe we got dinner.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically he's at the same time just...
Looking at it, and notices that it's going down a bit into the water.
Hey, we got a bite.
But he's a little cautious, so he starts to strap himself to his own fishing rod.
Okay, I'm not sure that will work, considering it's a shark. It can pull somebody easily. Okay. Alright.
He gets the knot, and so the line keeps going down crazy fast.
I got a bite!
And so he tells him to get behind him, and Hooper starts to notice as well. And so he tries to reel it in, just to see if it's actually the shark. But if it really was the shark, might have been even heavier.
And it probably would have pulled them by now.
Which Quint actually predicts that it's actually under the boat now.
Yeah, so they decided to toss some of the buoys things.
And get a hook. And so the line snaps as they're trying to fix it, and they fall down. And that's where, here's the part where we see Quint is kind of acting like a jerk as he insults Hooper for his actions.
You have insulted me because of your actions.
And Hooper's not really pleased, and then he gives him an insult college joke, I guess. And he gets pissed about it and makes faces at him.
Okay.
So he's the driver, and he is ordered by Quint to drive around wherever. So Quint is on top and tells Brody that he has to get another chum line bucket and, feed the shark again. If that's what you like to call it.
Feed the sharks, people. Actually, imagine the tourism on that one. Everyone feed the sharks.
And so he's not looking behind him, and that's when we got the shark.
Yeah!
That's where he notices, and that's a classic movie scene, everybody.
Just when,
And so he backs up.
Hey guys, the shark's underneath.
And so that's where we get to the classic line, we're gonna need a bigger boat. Or you're gonna need a bigger boat for that matter.
And Rugrats would even parry that years later in their Wild Thornberries crossover. That's just a fun fact.
So they notice and go out and notice that the shark is literally circling around the boat.
Okay, it's not really doing anything so much as just, hey guys.
And so they begin to prepare.
I'm full after the chum. Thank you.
And so he gets out his suitcase that has the equipment for a harpoon gun, which is going to install right now.
Yeah, a harpoon!
Which is also pretty dangerous for the shark. And so he gets a call, and it's actually from Brody's wife. And so Hooper's trying to force him to get into the front, but because he's a big pussy, he does not want to face the shark alone.
I would be scared of a shark, period.
And so Quint orders Brody to go up and drive the boat, as Hooper will man the barrels, which are actually attached to Quint's harpoon gun.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, he
shoots it into the shark, where we see a little bit of blood, and the barrel gets attached. Basically, if you don't know...
One barrel, everyone.
Basically, if you don't know, they are attaching barrels to the shark because they need to make sure where the shark goes, because those are very yellow and they can float. So since they're attached to the shark...
Float!
Since they attach to the shark, then it'll be easier to spot it from anywhere, even if it tries to go down. So, we got sunset hitting. That means Brody thinks we are going to quit.
Nah, not really.
They're just mostly going to stay in there.
And just take a nap, I guess, or just sing a lot.
Basically, they're in dinner time now, and Hooper and Quint discuss the times of their, shark-filled adventures, as they also like to show each other their scars. Which is actually shown right here.
Sing.
No!
I
Anyways,
know that I go anywhere.
yeah, basically in the scene, they are singing for a few bit until the shark starts to come back, as the barrel clearly shows.
Okay.
And the reason he put that little flashing thing is because just so they can locate where it is. In the dark.
Time to sing.
Anyway, so they notice some problems as the boat starts to shake and things start to crack. And so now they gotta act fast because they're simply getting attacked by the shark. And of course, the boat is also getting flooded.
Yeah, I would assume that too.
And the lantern causes a fire.
Well, don't worry. The water will put it out.
And so Quint tries to shoot the shark again, but that's kind of a bad idea,
He'll come back for you.
Tell me about it. Yeah, it actually will.
Spoiler.
And so the next morning they're trying to fix up the boat and everything until the barrels just come right up out of the water.
Okay, everybody, the shark's back.
And it's gonna come to its worst.
Plug the
Enough with the Mr. Krabs music joke. Anyway, so he notices and the guys go toward the back.
Yeah, so anyway.
That is until they encounter the shark and Quint gets a huge cut on his hand.
Ouch, that's only mark in the morning.
And splashes them with water, and that's when Brody has decided he has enough and goes to make a phone call, which Quint is not going to allow.
For reasons unknown.
He calls the Coast Guard and the Navy or whatnot.
Yeah, and so then...
Things come up to the worst when he grabs a baseball bat.
And literally smashes what they would use to pretty much contact anybody, meaning that they're stranded.
And that's what really sets Brody off, and now he's pissed off.
I would probably attack that guy after that.
But instead, he just beats up the radio even more.
I would have just beat him in the head after that one.
And so Hooper says that the shark
We're stranded!
No, the Hooper says the shark is back, and Quint fires yet another barrel at him.
What's the point? It's not going to do anything.
It's just to show that where it is. And Brody tries to take a bit of responsibility by trying to shoot the shark. And the barrels are just staying up there. As when they hook it up, the barrel tries to pull them in through as the shark is controlling the boat from the back. And as you can see, Hooper and Quint are all both trying to make sure to hold on.
Yeah, so basically you're playing tug-of-war with the shark.
And he finally ends it by cutting the rope.
And so I guess the shark won the fight.
Now at that moment, they try to see what's going on, where it went.
Would just be pissed off, considering the fact remains we lost contact. Oh, there's the shark.
3 barrels come up.
1, 2, 3.
And that's where they start to take notice and talk more about it. And, by the way, they're all wet.
Well, of course they'd be wet. They got splashed.
And
anyway.
So the shark circles around them, sorry. And that they start to lead the shark toward land. At least that's what Quint's plan is.
Yeah, it's actually a clever plan. If you lead towards the land, eventually it gets caught on the beach.
And it'll drown.
Not really drown, as much as suffocate.
Suffocate, I guess. And so the next moment, Quint has the idea to put Hooper into the cage.
Really? Who would even come up with that idea? That's risking your own life.
Hooper was the one who said he'd get into the cage because he's a shark expert. And so he tells him that he will be able to get some poison and put it into the shark, and so the building of the cage begins. The building.
Let's build a cage that will fail. Spoiler.
And so he loads up the poison and the darts just to make sure that the shark would die. Yeah, they're really cautious about this. And so they grab the cage and start to load him inside.
Yeah, with scuba equipment.
Well, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
And so they lower him down into the cage as Brody watches, and Quint is the one who's actually doing the lowering of the cage.
Yeah, I would not be able to do that simply because the fact remains the pressure.
Not only that, but he's not even that deep. He's just over the boat. And so he gets defensive.
Okay, where are you?
Looking for the shark, he circles around the cage, and nothing happens to show up, so he gets prepared with the poison.
Alright then.
That is until the shark comes by, and he drops his poison dart thing.
Oh crap.
Now, Hooper is screwed. The shark comes in, all of a sudden bangs the cage completely.
And that's his only protection at this point.
Yeah, but that's not a very strong shark cage. As it keeps on going, and Hooper manages to escape. And because the shark is constantly doing this, it causes the line to snap, and the cage cannot be supported because of the heavy weight of the shark.
Yeah, sharks are heavy apparently.
So Quint fixes it by hooking it up, and they end up taking the cage back
It's
off.
too bad that they're not on one of those giant boats. You know, those types of ones where you're carrying cargo.
Yeah, and that's when the worst of the worst comes. A shark comes out and completely destroys the back of the boat.
Yeah, and you might recognize. Yeah, and Jimmy Neutron would take that also years later with their giant turtle type of thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of Nickelodeon shows seems to use that gag.
Anyway, Quint is in a lot of trouble as he literally gets bitten by the shark to the worst.
Ouch.
And that's when the shark keeps on biting him as he's stabbing the crap out of that thing.
He's like, if he's going down, he'll take him with it.
That is exactly what you have to do. And completely bleeds out, making the shark go. And after he had a nice snack with Quint, he goes for Brody next, who ends up throwing a tank right into the mouth of the shark, which is actually a good idea.
Yeah.
You'll see why in a few seconds if you haven't seen this movie. So he climbs up the mast of the boat, and just before it sinks, he goes on a lookout for the shark.
Yeah.
That is until the shark pops out again, and he stabs it.
And for record, those aren't the only shows that ripped it off. Not just those three. Also, Phineas and Ferb was actually Disney, sorry. But even Kids Next Door did this one.
And then we come up to the most famous and infamous scene of the movie where Brody tries to shoot the tank, trying to make the shark go boom boom. So a couple of shots around, and nothing's really happening.
Miss. Strike one. Strike two.
And now the
the
final shot.
Strike.
4.
Hit.
And the shark goes bye-bye, as the entire explosion shows blood and salt water all over as he laughs.
And probably some of Hooper's body.
No, because Hooper, spoiler alert again, he ends up surviving.
Oh, okay, then it was Quentin.
Quint was the only one who died, as Hooper actually rises to the surface.
So I guess Hooper was lucky he stayed in the water?
He was. And basically this ends the scene as the two just swim away with the barrels. So, ladies and gentlemen, a brief overview from the
How'd we get here?
I don't know. Explain.
It got hot, so we changed rooms, I guess. Okay.
So, Jaws. A classic thriller made by Steven Spielberg and written as an original book by Peter Benchley.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie that can make you scared of going in the water. I mean, I'd probably be scared after that one, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, what did you think of this film?
For one point, this movie made the most money, even like movies like before Star Wars, Titanic, and Avatar. So I can see why this movie made the most money. Not originally, but a long time ago, I guess. Maybe. Hell, it was over 40 years, so makes sense.
Yeah. I personally like this movie a lot. Since the first time I really actually saw it, I actually adored this movie. I've gotten so addicted to it to the point where I've watched it so often.
Yeah, at one point it was his #1 movie.
But yes.
Yeah, and the reason why he didn't do that gag that I did in Back to the Future was simply because it's not his favorite movie anymore. We'll get to that.
What movie?
The Shining.
Ah.
Oh, trust me, you're in for a big one on that one.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you have anything else to say about Jaws?
I give it, I guess, maybe 8.5.
Oh, shouldn't we talk about its rating? PG?
Just why?
We talked a lot about this when both of us actually saw the movie.
Yeah, it's just PG.
The cursing, the violence, the gross imagery, and anything else?
The deaths?
Yeah. PG, everybody.
Yeah. Who knew? Maybe some of these movies that are quote unquote PG should watch. No, this is what a PG movie looks like. Yeah, really. This is a PG movie.
It sure
And with that logic, The Shining should be rated G.
Ah, never. That would not even pass if it went on G.
Okay, so I give this movie an 8.5. You?
I give it an 8.6 because I like this movie so much.
And then only an 8.6? Why is that?
Because because the whole PG fact and the fact that
That's the reason why I give it only 8.5.
Well, I would have gave it a 9 if it weren't for Quint not like dying. But speaking of which, I've read in the comments that spoiler alert, by the way, in the book, Quint does not die from the shark.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's what I heard. That's what I saw in the comments on YouTube on a video of Jaws. They told me that Quint never died from the shark.
And why? Well, it was an adaptation. They gotta make changes, but why did they do that?
I don't know. That's Steven Spielberg for you. And the cool fact is that they didn't use a real shark. They only used the real shark in the small footage of it passing by. The rest of it was just a mechanical robotic one.
Huh. It really got away with a lot in the 70s.
Talk about 70s, yeah.
That's some. Yeah. Well, this was at the point where those were those years when stuff like the Incredible Hulk was definitely becoming a thing. But then again, they aired a few years later. As for this movie in general, it's obviously it became a cult classic to the point where there are even movies that you could easily mistake it for being part of the franchise, considering this movie itself has like 3 sequels, or should we say 18? Sort of, kind of. That's a whole other thing on its own.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, but then there's stuff like that might actually be true when you got stuff like Jaws in Japan. Yeah,
Jaws in Japan must have bombed really bad.
Yeah, it did. That's all. We'll get there one day.
And we're also going to review this way later, Sharknado.
Yeah, and makes sense. I mean, they're interesting TV movies. And stuff like the current Flash series would obviously do references like that later on. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. Yeah, sequels.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Subscribe, like,
and show everybody else on our channel. I'll mention us in yours or something.
Yeah.
All right.
We are the entertainment is, and we'll see you later. Hell. Peace.